Welcome you guys to our success call. Tonight is May 24th. My month's in May, my week's in May. Jen will laugh. I'm still like, is it the 24th? How could that possibly be? But welcome. We're so excited to have you here tonight. Jen's going to lead our call. We're going to be talking a little bit later about winning the weekend, and it's going to be some really good information that I think will help us with probably the most challenging time, right? As far as your week and headed into something different. But as we get started, Jen's going to kind of just lead us in a few questions so that we can kind of check in and see how we're all doing on things too. And before we do that, I just wanted to start with a couple of minutes of recognition. So if you guys go to the group page, I'm going to actually show you, I'm going to share my screen here and just show you guys, if I can get here, how to get to this so that you know. Screen share. Okay, you guys can see my screen, okay?
Yep.
All right. So this is our Take Back Your Plate group. Let me just open it up fresh. And you access this the same way from your phone or from your desktop, okay? So, but if you go here, instead of having pinned posts now where they always stay at the top, we have what we call announcements. So we can put things in here that we want you guys to be able to access frequently, okay? So we've got our daily post, of course, here, our daily check-in, where you should go every morning and check in on the day before and how you did. And things that you learned. We've got this, we always give you the success chat for you to be on here. And then we've got this post of celebration. So we want you guys to use this. Alana talks about celebrating small milestones, right? Breaking those big weight loss goals down into 2 pounds at a time, right? So every time that you lose 2 pounds, we want you to ring that bell. We want you to celebrate that so that we can all celebrate together. So I just wanted to take a minute and celebrate some people for their weight loss so far. So let's give some love to these people. You can give them a shout in the group, but really excited. So congratulations to Dottie. She's been down 4 pounds since she started on May 7th. Amanda, congratulations, girl, down, wait, I know it was more than 5.4, 6.2 pounds now, so celebrating a third ring the bell, which is really, really awesome. And then congratulations also to Jen, down 5 pounds. I've been down 2 pounds, and hopefully we'll be ringing that bell tomorrow. But you guys, congratulations. And I think what you really see as I look at those people who are losing weight, they're checking in every single day too, right? So they're taking that accountability, taking that action, making sure that they do the things that they need to do to look at what that success means and create a successful weight loss day. So you guys, congratulations to you. Just celebrating you guys tonight and so excited. So yeah, so keep it up. You guys post every time. We want to celebrate every 2 pounds. That might not seem like a big deal if you're looking to lose a lot of weight, but it's a huge deal, right? It's hitting each one of those milestones takes work and consistency and making this a priority. And I just love that we see that happening. So I know that there's more people in our group who are down at least 2 pounds. So let's use that post and let's get that together. So, all right. With that, Jen, I'll turn the time over to you.
Okay, so let's just do just a quick roundtable discussion of kind of what's working well or where you're struggling with. Just kind of maybe just like a general check-in for your week. I will start this off. So I did really well up until last night and kind of fell into those old emotional eating habits of being tired and not feeling like cooking and still having a ton of stuff left on my to-do list. And I think that's preceded by the fact that I've been staying up later than normal all week. And so I'm not getting the sleep that I was like earlier this week when I was having those weight loss days. So I'm really focused on, I'm going to really focus on using those plated graphics for my dinner. I feel like I've got breakfast and lunch really, really solid and nailed down, but I really need to focus on that dinner one, and then being dinner and done again, and focusing more on sleep. I think that's going to be a big component for me, is making sure I'm getting more than 4 hours consistently every night. I think my body just needs more than that. So that's my goal for the next week, is more sleep and planning the plate at dinners and being dinner done. Tina, how was your week?
So it was funny that you say that, because that was probably one of my big ahas. Like when I start something new, like it's hard to like not be so excited that you just want to see these big results right away, right? And when you're not, you're a couple weeks into that newness, that motivation kind of works its way out. That's kind of where I found myself this week, and saying, well, maybe I should try this instead, or maybe I should try this instead, or maybe I should do this, right? And then I just tried to bring myself back to that and said, you know, if you want to have results, you've got to follow the program and you've got to be consistent. So that was one thing that I really dialed into the last 2 days too, was really using those graphics and making sure I was getting my portions. Because at lunch, you know, or breakfast, maybe I wasn't getting my carbohydrate, you know, so then I was eating later at dinner, you know, and it was just, I could tell that I wasn't fueling my body, that didn't make me hungry throughout the day. So I think it's just learning and being okay with learning that, and letting it, you know, instead of saying, okay, I got to give up and try something new, say, I'm going to give this every effort this month and really make it successful. So that's me. It's been like a struggle mentally to overcome what I've typically done in the past, to try to move on to something else and look at this as, this is something that's going to help me forever. And so I want to put the time in now to learn it, to make it last forever. So it's tough. Those cravings are tough. Late nights are tough.
Very tough. Very tough. How about you, Amanda? What's gone well and what are you struggling with this week?
Kind of got a boost in motivation. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of got a boost in motivation early on, because just weighing every day, I hadn't done that before, and seeing the differences in the small things that I was doing. So I'm like, oh yeah, I want to keep doing that. And so I've been able to, I really was motivated to keep trying, and it's working. And so that's been great. I struggled a little bit when we were running all day the last weekend, like finding like, what kind of protein am I going to put in this? I can get a salad, but I need some protein, and I don't know what to put in it because everything's full of fat and everything. But I've I grabbed some cans of chicken and some cans of tuna and kept those on hand, tons of veggies. My husband has really been supportive, so that's been awesome. He got me a food processor for Mother's Day.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I had a ton of veggies all chopped up and ready to go, and that's really been helping. So on the go was kind of hard, but I really wanted it because things weren't looking good at my last doctor's visit. So I really dug in there and said, I'm going to give this a chance by really doing it. So.
That's great, Amanda. And I think that idea of having those cans of tuna and chicken on hand is really great. And, you know, now that you mentioned that, we've been on the go all week this week. And so we're getting home way later than we usually are, and I'm exhausted. And so I think that I'll grab some for us to use too. So thanks for sharing that idea. That's great.
Yeah, I just wrote that down because I found myself twice this week without, like, where I thought I'd have leftovers from dinner and we didn't. And I felt stuck. So thanks for that reminder. And did you try any of Alana's recipes that she used with the tuna or the chicken?
I didn't. I haven't had a whole lot of time to learn new recipes.
That's okay. I was just curious if you had. So, but thank you. That was a really good idea. I wrote that down to make sure I put that on my grocery list.
How about you, Dottie? How has your week been?
Let me make sure you're unmuted. Yep, you're good.
Okay. Actually, I had a pretty good week. I have to agree with Amanda that the weighing myself and drinking more water has made a huge difference. I feel like I've, especially the last couple of years, my husband and I try to eat healthier. And so that part of it was easy. But I think one of my big problems was that like I said in my post, I like to drink coffee and I always had to have creamer in it. And the water has actually replaced that. Like I said, every day I go to work with a cup of coffee, one of those thermos things, the smaller ones, and I come home and it's not even half empty. And so I think I was drinking a lot of my calories then, and so that's really helped a lot for me.
Awesome.
Good, that's great. How about you, Melissa?
Sorry, had to unmute myself. So yeah, I've been using, well, I think this last week I've been really trying to ask myself, if I'm really hungry or if I'm just like doing it. Again, I'm still dealing with some of like, the busyness or maybe just like feeling just at odds with different things. And so it's stress eating. So I've really been trying to catch myself of like, okay, I could just grab this, unhealthy thing that's going to make me feel better short term, but like I'll feel more satisfied if I find something that's, like a salad. It's got protein and all that. So I tried this new recipe. It's got like, it's a sweet potato chicken salad. And it really was great because it has like it also has some veggies you mix in there, because I've been getting kind of bored with salad sometimes, and I'm learning new ways. And so it's got some green peppers and red peppers and different veggies snuck in there, and so it doesn't feel like I'm bored. I was actually excited to eat it. So that's kind of a good thing, is to get those veggies in. That's what I've really been trying to be intentional about, because I do feel more satisfied and more full when I get those veggies in. Especially like if I time it out like throughout the day versus trying to pile them all in at one time. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like that, where you eat a lot more at one time of the day than others, but trying to pace it every couple hours has been helpful. Yeah, and then the water part, I really have struggled with getting enough water lately. So that's really going to be my intention for the next week, is to really do a better job with getting more water intake for me.
I think, Kim, you're on here. How's your week been?
Oh, a little interesting. I really like the idea that you thought I'd lost 7 pounds. I was like, wow.
So that was a typo.
Yeah, sorry. The whole water thing is, I just don't drink water. I've some days I've done really well. Yesterday, okay. Today was just I realized I made it through the whole day and I didn't have any water. And so now here I sit with my glass of water, and it's just not my go-to drink. So I'm working on that one. But I have been taking all kinds of veggies to work, and finding it as I'm going through some stressful situations and stuff. I'm snacking on the veggies instead of hitting the candy box, and I haven't really minded it that bad. So I guess that's good. But I'm also getting it ready the night before too, and I think that helps.
Definitely. That's a big thing for me too. Do you have the beach bars like Tina suggested? Did you see her suggestion?
I did, and I had them. I took a box and actually put it in my desk. Unfortunately, it didn't even dawn on me that, gee, maybe I should grab one of those. It was just kind of those
habit.
Okay, I got to have something. So yeah, it was after the fact. It was like, oh yeah, dummy, you had them there. You should have just taken advantage of it, but I didn't. So, yeah, but they're there, and now it's like, yeah, now I know they're there, and I'll try to stay away from that.
We'll move forward. So I think that's everybody that's on right now, and I think as I listen to what everybody shared, I think really what we can take away is that if we want to stack multiple weight loss days on each other, the key is consistency in sticking to that that breakfast, right? Alana talks a lot about having a consistent, constant breakfast to make it easy, but to give yourself that first win early in the morning. It's consistency in drinking water before every meal. And I found for me, getting my water intake, that makes a huge difference. If I drink 12 to 16 ounces of water before every meal, that's a big portion of my daily water goal right there, just between meals. And then I'm able to just sip on my water bottle throughout the rest of the day, and I've hit my goal. So I think if we take that like the key is consistency mindset into our weekend, we can create weight loss days on the weekend. And I think, after our first weekend last weekend, a common theme Monday morning was, well, I slipped here, or, I really struggled with this weekend because of schedule changes, or, more flexibility in my schedule, or we were busy, or whatever the case may be. So knowing that everything going forward, it's Memorial Day weekend. So everything here on out is a weekend, right? We've got graduation parties, we have Memorial Day, barbecues, birthday parties, 4th of July, all the way through. And so we're going to find ourselves in situations where our schedules change, and we're in different situations than we might be when we're just a little more homebound during the winter. So there's 2 things that Alana has shared that we can do to stay in weight loss mode over the weekend. And the first is to still have that morning breakfast. So try to still keep your morning routine to the point of, it's time to eat breakfast. I find myself, I get so busy on the weekends trying to get caught up in the morning. Before I know it, it's 11 o'clock. I've been up since 6 and I haven't eaten anything. And so then it's like, I'm like Melissa mentioned, I'm trying to play catch up then to get my veggies and my water in, and that just makes it really hard and feels really defeating. So if we can have a consistent breakfast Monday through Friday, carry that through the weekend, it's going to give us just a positive win first thing in the morning. It's going to help us start our day with purposeful food. It's going to help us build momentum going into the whole weekend, right? And she did mention too that, I get up at 4 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and typically I do not do that on the weekend. So she says, it's okay. Your body needs more sleep, and sometimes the opportunity to get that is on the weekend. So if you sleep in and you do find yourself eating later, at that 10 or 11 o'clock, maybe your breakfast meal looks more like a plate at lunch meal. So you have your, if you're doing shake for breakfast, but then you're also adding a veggie and a really good FFC to that to make it more of a plate at lunch. And then maybe you also do an earlier dinner, and then be dinner and done. So your body has more time to process that volume of food that you've eaten in a shorter period of time. You give it longer overnight to process and create the opportunity for a weight loss day. The second tip to create weight loss weekends is to have a plan. So I love to eat out, and we eat out usually at least once a week. So if we can plan where we're going to eat out, if we can look at the menu ahead of time, if we can decide if this is an opportunity where we're going to treat ourselves, or if we're going to stick with the 2 bunny principles at the restaurant, if we can create the mindset before we arrive at our destination, I think it's a lot easier to stick to our weight loss goals. And that's really, really what it all comes down to, is we're all here because we want to be in weight loss mode, right? And so all of these temptations and these excuses and these hurdles, they're always going to be there, right? They're going to be there whether we're in weight loss mode, or when we hit maintenance mode, or when we decide to relax a little bit. And so I think for us, we need to all realize that, we're all at a different point in our journey. And as we use our trackers and as we work through this program, we're creating our own weight loss program, because it's individualized to every single one of us. And so we can go back in our trackers and see, okay, I lost weight these 3 days in a row. What did I do? And I can duplicate that going forward. And if we take that mindset through the week and duplicate it on the weekend, we can have more weight loss on the weekend. Alana is a firm believer that, a weekend can actually create more weight loss days for you, like a cumulative weight, than you can during the week, because you are typically less anxious and less stressed. Typically you have a little more time for sleep and a little more time for planning. So I think there's just, I know for me, just needs to be a mindset shift around weekends that, it's just another day. And if I want it to be a weight loss day, then I need to treat it like I do Monday through Friday. Prep my vegetables, plan my plate at dinners, decide if this is an opportunity I want to take to eat purposefully, or take an opportunity to treat myself. So I think that it would be good for all of us if we rewatch the food group and the Plate It videos again before this upcoming holiday weekend. And really, I've listened to them a couple times, and each time I listen to them, I find just one more little piece of information or tip that can help me. So that's going to be my goal, is before Saturday morning, I'm going to rewatch those and see if I can pull a few more tips out. And remind myself that I'm here because I want to learn how to eat well so I can live well. And I want this to become so second nature to me, like brushing or flossing my teeth or doing laundry, right? I just want it to become part of my routine so it doesn't take so much forethought. And if we can create that routine through consistency, I think that, that's what makes this a lifestyle and not a diet. Because it just becomes the way we eat. It becomes the way we look at food. It becomes the way that we treat our bodies. Acknowledge that silly treats are okay once in a while, but it's not our normal anymore. So do you guys have any insight things that have helped you in the past on the weekend or might help you going forward?
I was just going to say, there's anxiousness, right, about trying this at one of these events, right? We're going to have a barbecue or be at a graduation or do something. But you guys, how exciting is it to try this too, right? To just live this principle and know just doing it that one time, right, is going to help so much to say, okay, this is possible. This is possible for me. This is possible for us. So, take your water bottles with you when you go, right? Look at these sayings. Doesn't that help so much to just have these right here every single day and all the time? So it's apprehensive, but it's I don't think that we have to feel anymore like we can't succeed at this. Oh no, it's barbecue season, so I've got to give up on my goals. We've got a plan now, right?
Yes.
So we can do this. We can do this. So that's what I'm going to take into this weekend. I'm going to think about where I'm going to be and work to have a plan. I love that. But Jen, I really love that. Eat well so you can live well. I like that. Thank you. It's awesome.
And I think the post that Melissa shared today, the more sure model.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really great. I think that's something I'm going to bookmark in my getting started guide or screenshot on my phone, because when I'm in an event, the first thing I go up for seconds for is vegetables, and I graze, and I find myself grazing across that sweet and salty combination that I talked about last week, or I do tend to gravitate more toward protein, but then I never really feel like I'm satisfied. So I think having that more sure model just kind of at the forefront of my mind will really help me at these get-togethers and parties and just on the weekends in general too. So if you didn't see Melissa's post, and if you haven't watched that video yet, add that one to your list to watch before the weekend too, because I think it'll really help us all.
Yeah. I get excited about that too, right? You can have more, do this.
Right.
I remember making the cauliflower risotto. I can't remember if it was this week or last week. I think it was last week. And I put all this big portion on my plate. And I was like, I can eat all of this. I can allow myself to have this, where I always was like, oh man, I can't have that much of this or that. And it's dude, I can, and then if I want more, sure, I can have more. It makes such a big difference. One other thing I was going to say that I remember from one of Alana's videos was that she said, remember the purpose of what you're going to that event, or why you're where you are, wherever it is or what you're doing, right? And then be have that at the forefront of your mind, right? We don't go to a graduation party to just have the food, right? We're there for the people and to celebrate those people. Same with barbecues. Even though it's built around food, we're not there just for the food. We're there to share those, make memories and be with family and, have a good time. So you know, I find that if I don't stick around that table, if I go be active or really just really appreciate and enjoy that true purpose of why we're at that event, that helps so much more to stay, to just not even have to worry about that, you know, to not make that the focus. So, you know, take that real reason of celebration, and if you're going to have a treat, make it because of that, right? You know, if you don't have a piece of cake because you're bored at 11 o'clock at night and you should be going to bed. Hello, that's me. Jen, we're like, we live like the same day every single day. I'm like, that was me too. But, you know, if you're at a birthday party, right, have that and celebrate that, you know, moment that we're having together. Like, it's purposeful then, right? That piece of cake serves a purpose there. So enjoy those things that make it purpose. Enjoy those events because there's purpose there too. And focus on that. I think it brings you joy, right? Not even just around food, but just in your life. Like, you create so many more memories. And I just thought to myself, like, today, I'm like, there's so many more opportunities to just go and be doing something, to be active, that we just don't even realize sometimes the time that we have, because, you know, we just sit around, and when we do that, we get bored, and then we eat, and then we're busy because we have to eat and all of this. So anyway, that's enough of me talking circles, but I don't know. It's just got me really excited to focus in and to really try this and to let it work, right? Allow it that opportunity to work in our lives and to make us happier, not just because of weight loss, but because we put more importance on the things that are really important in our life. So.
Right. And I think it's really important too to remember that there's no falling off the wagon with this plan. There's no on plan or off plan. There's no failing, because there's nothing you can't eat. You choose what to eat and you track it and you learn from it. So I think that for me is a huge mindset shift. From how I've tried to eat in the past, you know, where I did feel deprived, and I did feel like if I ate the cake at the going away party, then, you know, the entire week is thrown in the toilet and I've completely ruined any progress I've made. And it's not the case. And I think that this program, this mindset, is really helping me reel that negativity back in and find the balance between gorging myself and enjoying the food because it's part of the purposeful experience. The other topic I wanted to touch on real quick is PMS. And I want to talk about it because this is my cycle. I do really good for 2 weeks, and then I have a week where I feel like I'm starving and I can't stop shoving my face full of food, and then I'm emotional, and then the scale goes up, and then I finally get my act together and dial it back in, and I'm back down, you know, where I want to be. And I've tracked it, you guys. I started tracking these like cravings before this program, but then Alana shared in the group too that, you know, PMS for women and the scale and your weight loss goals wreaks havoc on us emotionally and physically. And she said that, you know, we really need 2 consistent months of following the Plate It and the 2 bunnies and all of these principles to figure out how to manage our own personal menstrual cycles and hormones and how that impacts our bodies. So she says that we all know this, but a week before our cycle starts, we bloat and we swell and we retain a ton of water. And that's because our body is trying to compensate for the amount of fluid that we're about to release. And so we start craving salt because that salt helps the body retain the water. Okay. And I definitely see that in my cravings. So she said, be prepared. Know that, you know, on that week before your cycle, you can expect the scale to go up 2 pounds. And it could go up 2 pounds overnight, or it could go up gradually throughout the week. But she said, on average, a woman will gain 2 pounds a week before her cycle starts. And we have to learn to be okay with that. We have to recognize where we're at, recognize that's where that number on the scale is, recognize that it's our body doing its own natural thing, and don't be reactionary. And that's where I need to work on it, because in the past I have been 100% reactionary. It's kind of toilet philosophy. gained 2 pounds because I ate the pretzels last night. So I'm just gonna wing it the rest of the week, and I'll start again on Monday. And this program really is gonna, I think, help us get away from that. So when we see that scale go up that week before, we just got to remind ourselves where we're at, and remind ourselves that if we stay consistent with our waters, stay consistent with our plate at dinners, lunches, those plate at graphics, the bunnies, if we drink more water maybe than what our, up your minimum water goal that week before, by the end of the next week, you'll not only lose those 2 pounds you gained, but you're going to likely lose more than that. So I think it's just, nobody talks about it, right? Everybody talks about how much weight they've lost and how great they feel. And if you follow other influencers on social media, some of them share that, oh, I'm not bloated and it's my periods because I'm living this healthy lifestyle. And I'm calling BS on it, because everybody experiences some impact from our hormones doing this crazy roller coaster the week before. So I just want us all to be prepared, in the next month or so, and really utilize our trackers, and maybe start tracking that emotional side too. If we're finding ourselves craving more salt, craving more of our fallback foods. And I want to share too that I've started using an app the beginning of this year to kind of track where I'm at in my cycle and try to relate that to my cravings. And it's called Clue, CLUE. And it has really helped me when I get in the middle of that trap that week before, say, okay, what's going on? And I can open that app and say, okay, I'm going to start my cycle next week. I know what this is. And it's helped me start to take more control of that and not be as reactionary as I was like 9 months ago. So I wanted to share that in case you wanted to also utilize that. You can track all sorts of things in that app. I mostly use it for the dates and the craving part of it, but I think that's something we could also just work right into the trackers we're also using. Does anybody else have any tips for dealing with cravings and bloat and all of that the week before?
I was just going to say, I actually just wrote that down this last time, because every time I'm like, I need to remember when that's coming, because the same thing that week before, and you're like, what the heck is going on with me? So thank you for that. I'll check into this app. I think that will help as well. I think it's helped me to just remember what's happening, right? Now that you recognize that that's what's happening, like if you can tell yourself that, right, you have the knowledge now. So when you have knowledge, it's powerful, because you can anticipate those things and you know how to handle them, versus it just seems out of control and you don't really know what to do. So you just react to that. So I think it's great, Jen. Thanks for bringing that in to talk about it, because now that we know that, you can say, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what's happening to me. Okay, I can do this. I'll take some more time for me, maybe go take a walk or do something else to kind of give yourself that emotional release. And I think too, be okay with it. I loved in the last fitness program I did, Autumn Calabrese and 80-Day Obsession, she talked about that in one of her workouts, that she was bloated that day because, she was on that time of her cycle. And I thought that's really cool that she would recognize that instead of, just trying to move past it, to openly talk about it. When we talk about things, it makes it okay, right? It takes that fear out of it for sure.
So I think that overall, did you have something, Amanda? I think you're still muted. There you go.
Oh, okay. I think it has helped me to, with the veggies first, there's some, the sugar snack peas, or even just caramelized onions. I usually crave sweet. So if I reach for some of those veggies that have some sweet in them, I find it cuts the cravings, and then I don't even want the cake or the cookies or whatever.
That's awesome.
I think sweet potatoes is another good one too, that I always find is good, because it adds that sweetness to it, just like Melissa said. So Melissa, I hope you're sharing that recipe.
Yes, it's amazing. My mom was here when I made it, and she's like, that's a weird combination, but I love it. She's like, I can't stop thinking about that. I have to make it. So it's pretty good.
All right, so we're about to run out of time here on our video chat, but I think that we all have a really great game plan for the next week. Again, recommend watching the food group, the Plate It videos, and the More Sure videos before the start of the weekend, and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the experiences that come with those get-together, and let's just make it another strong week, and keep tracking, keep checking in every day, ring the bell. We want to see that bell.
Yes.
And we'll all gather again next Thursday.
Good. Thanks, you guys, for being on. Talk to you soon.
Have a good night.